Hey, what's up? My name's Maxwell Lemke. I am doing a presentation on my final project for Comp Sci 103. Um, and this is that presentation. The final project for this class was to make a video game, and that's what I did. Here's an overview of some of the code. And you might see some of the assets here too, which is where I put probably a good chunk of the work in this project. I started over the weekend, and I started out by taking 2 or 3 days just to make sure that everything looked really good. I worked in Paint.net, and then I exported everything and sent it out to Game Maker, and these are those assets. It was a lot of fun making these. It was cool trying to animate. This is my first time doing something like that, and now that I've done it a couple times, I think I've figured out how to do it better than I did, but that's besides the point. I am going to now get into the presentation proper, but before I do that, I'd like to thank Justice for doing a good job of teaching this class, and especially for making the modules on Canvas very, very accessible and easy to digest. There were like a couple things with this that I wanted to do differently from some of the things that we did in class, such as trying to change the color of sprites as they're being created, or like adjust the menu system so that they fit the assets that I made. And because of how digestible and easy to understand the modules were, I was able to implement them in order to fit the assets and outline for the game that I made in a pretty intuitive way. So thank you. And so yeah, with that, I'm gonna get into starting the game. It's probably going to take about 3 seconds to load. It'll bring us to the main menu screen. It'll start playing some music. This music I wrote for my band, Analog Brass. It's unreleased, and I'll probably be putting it out in like March or April. So if you like what you're hearing, check out my band, Analog Brass. We're on Spotify and YouTube and all of the other social media places. But yeah, so moving on, we got our main menu screen here. We got our 3 buttons, start, help, and quit, and they're set up using the menu system array that we got from the menu project. This help button is here to demonstrate all of the controls of the game, so you can press A and D to move the main character left and right. You can use W and space to jump. I was thinking about just having space be the jump button or just W be the jump button, but after playing it through a couple times, I definitely felt that it was like way more fun to be able to use either button, and I couldn't really settle on either one being like more preferred for my brain to use on a side scroller, which is what this game is. You can click the mouse to shoot. You can press F to switch to full screen, and I've had this issue on earlier runs of this presentation where I'll press F to switch to full screen and the whole screen will go black. I think that is an issue with OBS's capturing because of I guess the display settings. If there was a way to use Game Maker to set the window to full screen windowless border, I'm pretty sure it's the full screen would be able to properly show up. But for my second take, I did full screen the entire time, and I had a pretty good take, and it ended up not working, or it ended up not showing the screen for the entire presentation, which sucked. And that's why we're here now on take 6. So I will quote-unquote demonstrate full screen. I'll hit F. And now I see full screen, which is great, but you do not. So I'm going to switch out of full screen, and we're going to get into the game here proper. I will demonstrate the quit button after I show the lose screen and the other the windscreen as well. So once I show both endgame screens. So up here we have health. Health starts at 500, and collision takes away 1 health per tick, which is like a 60th of a second or something like that. So health goes down rather quickly. When you click, it creates a bullet. In this situation, it's a laser, and I wanted to demonstrate the inventory system by having the laser change color whenever you click, but unfortunately I wasn't quite able to do that in time because of just because of bugs, and so instead what I got was whenever you click, the laser gets put up here in the top left. It says what color the laser is, and the code randomly chooses one of 3 colors to make the laser from. And so when the lasers go outside of the bounds of the screen, which is 2000 by 3000, the laser disappears. And that's important because sometimes when you have multiple lasers, the text overlays over itself, and that's frustrating. So this here is room 2 of 2. This is the spawn area. As you can see, there's a parallax background. The clouds are their own layer. The clouds and birds are their own layer separate from this cityscape background that I drew, which is separate from the sun, which is separate from the sky box itself. And so the 2 main rooms that you can go into are this house and this library. This house is not a necessary part of the game, but in order to hit the 4-room requirement, and to just kind of have fun with making more assets, I decided to include this. There's a parallax background here. There's some enemies that follow you around, and the enemies die when you shoot lasers at them. I know that it didn't look very much like they were being destroyed, so I'm going to go back into the other room and show the lasers properly killing enemies at range. So here you got a demonstration of collision, which is when 2 objects touch each other. The character hops up on the table. Sometimes they walk into it and you know, they aren't able to move, but that just means that they're touching. And if I wanted to have that be more clear, then it would be then I would probably have to take a good amount of time to fix that. So here's the main laser weapon working at range. There you go. And now we're going to demonstrate the lose screen. Here's another object collision right here. There's this table. I'm gonna run down my health counter and die in order to show the lose screen. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You lost. Press enter to return to menu. Gonna hit enter. Audio's gonna restart. We're gonna be here at the start menu yet again. Press enter to click any of these buttons. Gonna go back to the start menu and go straight to the win condition, which is finding the trophy, which is also outlined in the help menu. Sometimes when you run through the doors in the game, you will accidentally recollide with the doors, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with entering this library here. And part of that has to do with like how the hitbox for this main character kind of flips around erratically. You know, again, if I just like went through and messed around with the hitbox a couple times, it probably would be a little bit more fluid, but regardless, here we are. Here is the trophy, which is the win condition for the game. I'm gonna hit it. It says you won. Press enter to return to menu. Enter. We're back here at the starting menu, and now I will demonstrate the last button here, which is quit. Enter to quit. The game closes down, and that brings us to the end of our final project. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and I definitely learned a lot from taking this class. I really I've been playing video games for years, so actually getting a better understanding of like everything that goes on under the hood in a much more, like, I guess, technical way is cool. You know, people, especially in the video game community, talk about mechanics and like using mechanics in order to play the game better. But from this situation, we aren't like, you know, deconstructing the game. We are working it from the ground up, and that whole process gave me a greater appreciation for like how much work it takes to do this, and how many hours it takes to actually put together a game. So yeah, thank you Justice, thank you to the TAs in this class. It was a pleasure learning, and I hope that y'all have a good rest of your winter break before the next quarter starts. Yeah. My name is Maxwell Lemke. Have a good one.